Hi, I'm Heather from Heather Handmade, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a beach bag with a free sewing pattern. As I was designing this pattern, I at first really wanted to make it simple, essentially like a tote bag, but then I just realized like when I go to like the pool or the beach or something, I need a bag that can do everything for me. So it has a lot of pockets and special things that it can do. It doesn't make it any harder, so it's just a longer project, but you can leave anything off that you don't want to make it simpler. My favorite feature is that you can wear it as a backpack or you can carry it with the handles. Just when I'm corralling kids and having so much stuff, I need a backpack that won't fall off so that I can use my hands for other things. There's two pockets on the side for like water bottles. There is some elastic to hold the towels rolled up right here on the outside. It closes with snaps right here just to make it easy and quick. And then inside, right now I have 5 pockets, like 4 of them are elastic ones like this. And then there is a zipper pocket like this. But any of those can be left off, or you can actually have up to 7 pockets on the inside. It's really what you want and what you need. It's great for carrying everything like sunscreen, snacks, water, shoes, diapers, wipes. I mean, you name it, we can put it in this bag and carry it. I chose to make this bag out of canvas and quilting cotton to make it easier to sew and washable. If you want to make it out of something waterproof, you do need to choose a different fabric, and then you'll have to be a little bit more careful because waterproof fabric is a little bit harder to sew and it's stiffer, so it's harder to turn things right side out, so just be aware. I'm so excited to share this project with you because it will solve all of my beach time and pool time problems with this one bag. So let's get started. For this project, this beach bag, you're going to need 2 yards of quilting cotton for the interior, for the lining, and 2 yards of fusible fleece. You will need canvas for the outer fabric and like the straps. I chose to do a different color for my straps to make them stand out. You will need 1.5 yards of the canvas. You also need 1.5 yards of fusible interfacing. Now, for the sake of time, I have already cut out all of my pieces. I have interfaced all of my pieces, and I have fused fusible fleece to all of my pieces and done a little bit of ironing so that I can make this video go a little bit faster. This video will have all of the pieces and all of the steps. So if you want to leave something out, you can just skip ahead. For the straps, you are going to press them in half with the length, with the long sides matching, then press the long edges to match in the middle, and then fold all 3 folds and press it again, and that is how we get a nice strap that is thick and strong and all of the like raw edges are enclosed. So once it's all pressed, you're going to sew down each long edge with a 1/8 inch seam allowance to close that and keep it closed. For the outside side pocket, it is much wider than, this is the side, so it's a lot wider than the side. So what you're going to do is you are going to sew along this fold. You see how this can open up like this. So sew along this fold 1/2 inch from the top to create a casing for elastic, so we can make the top, elasticized, and it's better at keeping things inside the pocket. So do that to both of the outside pockets. So this is my back pocket. I had a small piece of fabric, so I pieced it together, but you're going to take one of the long edges and you are going to hem it with a 1/4 inch double fold hem. Now cut a piece of 7 or 8-inch elastic, just a 1/4 inch elastic, and we are going to slide it into the casing we created at the top of the pocket. So when your elastic gets pulled right here to the edge of this fabric, I'm actually going to pin it, because this is going to be tacked right here on the edge and you don't want it to pull through. Then you keep pulling your elastic through. And on this side, you're also going to pin it with the end right at that edge, so you can tack it in place. And that's how you make the pocket kind of suck it in so stuff won't fall out so easily. Then at the bottom of the pocket, you are going to make your pleats. And I just like to fold them on top of each other. You're doing both layers and pin that in place. And then we're going to baste across the bottom. So now you take your side pocket, and with this mark you're going to line up the bottom of the pocket so it's like facing down towards the bottom, so that we can, when we sew this on and flip it back up, the pocket, this raw edge of the pocket will be enclosed inside the pocket. So sew across the bottom with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now I have my back piece, and I have transferred the marks, which you can't really see because I used chalk, and chalk is pretty light colored, but I am going to pin the back pocket on between the marks. Then we are going to pin one strap to the top, so you're going to fold one edge under so that there's no raw edge, and pin this in place, and you're just going to sew a square around that, a square and an X. And then for the back strap pieces, you're going to do the same, where they both start up here at the top and then they come down, and the other side gets pinned down here. So now you fold the pocket up like this and pin it up at the side. It's going to like squeeze in because of the elastic, but once it's sewn into the bag, you won't have a problem. So you just want to make sure that this is smoothed out on the edge. We're going to baste along each side of both pockets. The back of the bag is now done with all the straps in the pocket. For the front of the bag, you're going to pin the straps, not the backpack straps, you're going to pin the handles in the right place, just like we did to the front. So I have already pinned this one on so that you can see. I have 40 inches for each piece of elastic, and I've pinned it to the side, then I pinned the middle, and then I pinned the quarters, and that's so that we have these loops like this that will hold the towels. We need to do one more row down here so that the towels can be, pinned up in like a column. Make sure you don't twist the elastic. Now that the sides and the front and back are done, you are going to this is essentially going to curve around like this to fit around the front and the back, but we want to do it right sides together. So it's going to be from here around and up to here. And I rounded the corners down here at the bottom so that it makes it a little easier to sew. So you just start on one side, pin it all the way around, and then sew it with 1/2 inch, and then we're going to do the same to the other side. Now you can turn the bag right out to check on it. And it is a big giant bag because you need lots of stuff when you go to the beach. But the outside is done, and now we can work on the lining. For the inside pockets, we are going to sew a seam. These are all on the fold. Let me show you. So see how they're all on the fold. So on the fold, you're going to sew 1/2 inch from the top to create a casing. It's just like the outer side pockets on the outside of the bag. So with all of these inside pockets, I have sewn the pleats at the bottom, and I have inserted elastic into the casing. So now you can take your inside pieces and you are going to line it up at the bottom and then line it up on the sides and baste this in place, and do that with all of your pockets. So now we're going to put a zipper into one of the center lining pieces. So you have your zipper facing pieces and your center pieces you've cut on the line. You've interfaced or you've applied the fusible fleece. So this zipper is a little bit too long, but it's going to work out just fine. So I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail about how to apply the zipper because I have other videos that teach you that, but essentially this short piece is going to be on the back of this piece, and this longer piece is going to be on the back of this piece with the zipper sandwiched inside here and inside here. Remember to top stitch on both sides. Now on the back, you're going to line up this lining piece. So you're going to sew just the lining across the top and just the lining across the bottom. We're not going to do the sides. So these 3 pockets are done. This is the inside, so we're going to sew these seams together here with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and sew these seams together here with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now I'm going to do this side and bottom piece in between the two, like the front and back piece, just like we did with the outside pieces. Now both the outer and lining back are finished, but the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a way to close the top of the bag. Instead of doing a zipper, I'm just doing 2 tabs that will hook together with a snap. This is just for ease, since this beach bag, like my kids are going to be opening it a lot and I don't want them to have to deal with a zipper. So I have the 2 tab pieces. What you're going to do is fold it on the long edge so that the short edges are matching. Pin these together, and how you are going to sew it is you are going to sew along each long edge on this side and this side with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Leave one side open and make sure that you backstitch when you start and when you stop. Next, trim along these corners to reduce the bulk. Now you are going to take a point turner and you're going to turn this right side out. And it's always a little tricky to get it started. And do the same to the other one. So now take your outer bag piece, and right between these 2 handles you are going to put one of the tabs and either pin it or clip it in place, and then baste across right there. Do the same to the other side. Now with your bag, your outer bag right side out and your lining right side in, you are going to slide the outer bag right inside the lining so that it's right sides together. And you're going to match up these side seams and these side seams. Make sure all the straps and handles are pushed down inside, and we're going to sew around the top, but you're going to leave about this much open so we can turn the bag right side out through this hole. Now you're going to reach inside and pull the bag out through this hole. Just make sure you go slowly so you don't rip out your stitches you just put in. Now you're going to push the lining inside the outer bag. Push down the corners. And the last thing we're going to do is you're going to kind of roll this edge so that the lining is on the inside. So from the outside you can only see the canvas, and you're going to go around the top edge and do a stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the edge, and that's to close this hole. Make sure that this is folded, all the seam allowances is folded inside when you sew over it. And then you can go back and add another row of stitching down below. I like to do another one that's 1 inch lower from the first stitch I did. The very last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a snap. You can add 2 snaps just right here, 1 tab going over the other tab. Once you've done the top, the bag is now done. You can see it's still a little floppy. It's not going to completely stand up on its own, but it's pretty great. And then you can just start packing it with all of the stuff that you're going to need. And then to put the towels in, you're going to take a towel, roll it up, and slip it into the elastic. And that's how you make a beach bag with a free sewing pattern. I can't wait to see all of the beach bags that you make. Please share them with me on social media. Check out these playlists with summer sewing projects and beginner sewing projects. And I hope you have a wonderful day.